4 indictments, conviction of sexual abuse, and surviving 2 assassination attempts. The last few months have been a roller coaster for Donald Trump, and today he stands tall as the 47th President of the United States. What was expected to be a close fight turned into quite a one-way traffic of sorts. 4 years after being defeated by Joe Biden, 78-year-old Trump beat his rival Kamala Harris to return to the White House. Harris is from the Democrats and the incumbent Vice President. Trump's victory is being hailed as one of the most stunning comebacks in US history. The former president has garnered about 51% of the popular vote compared to Harris's 47.5%. As for the electoral college seats, Trump stands at around 300 and Harris at 223 out of the total 550. The majority mark is 270. Votes in some states are still being counted as we speak, but the result is more or less sealed. Trump and his supporters erupted in joy, while Kamala Harris gave a speech conceding the election a couple of days back. President Joe Biden addressed the nation last night, promising a swift and peaceful transition.
For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory, and I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition.
Several world leaders congratulated Donald Trump on a famous win, including India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The elections in the world's oldest democracy were watched closely all over the world. After all, the result will have its own set of implications. With Trump set to enter the White House for a second time, here's what to expect. Hello and welcome, I'm Shubham Chauhan. Let's get started. So the first question, how did Trump pull this off? Broadly speaking, there are some factors that worked in favor of Donald Trump. A. The economy. Several surveys indicated that the US voter was unhappy with the state of the US economy under the Biden administration, where Harris was vice president. By one estimate, prices are roughly 20% higher now than they were when Biden took office 4 years ago. Nearly 75% of Americans believed the country's economy was on the wrong track. According to exit polls published by NBC News, of the 32% of interviewed voters who said the economy was an election issue, 80% of them voted for Donald Trump. The president-elect has promised 10 to 20% tariffs on imports and up to 60% in case of Chinese goods, reduction in corporate tax, and several other measures to boost the economy. Next, immigration. Shutting down borders for illegal immigrants was one of the main focus of Donald Trump's campaign. According to an estimate by the Associated Press, immigration as an issue was 5 times more important for the voter than 2020. Largely, data points to the fact that Trump's campaign resonated big time with his core voters, of course, but also making gains in other vote banks, like blacks, for instance. About 80% black voters by one estimate backed Harris, which is down from 90% for Joe Biden. Trump here doubled his share. About 30% black men under the age of 45 voted for Donald Trump this time. That's roughly double the number he got in 2020. Trump has won a significant increase in support from male Latino voters too. That's up 18% points on 2020 compared to 2020. Even among women, surprisingly, Trump made inroads into this section of voter that was largely behind Kamala Harris, but not as much compared to Joe Biden. 53% women voted for Harris compared to Trump's 46%. This is another estimate. Now juxtapose this with Biden, where the US president got 55% of the women vote, while 43% went to Donald Trump. In fact, such has been the domination of Donald Trump this time that the Republicans are set to gain control of the White House with Trump and the US Congress, comprising House of Representatives and the Senate. In 2020, President Biden had won 6 of 7 battleground states in the US. Now, these battleground states are swing states that include Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. In 2024, President-elect Donald Trump is likely to win all 7. Now, all eyes are on the team that Donald Trump picks to run the White House. Among the first appointments is that of Susie Wiles, the first woman to be the chief of staff at the White House. But what does Trump's win mean for some of the other major countries around the world? Because if there's one thing about Trump that everyone knows, is this: his unpredictability. Currently, the world is seeing two wars going on, and there are questions over global order and stability. Let's take the Ukraine war, for instance. Now, since this Russia-Ukraine war began in 2022, US and in extension NATO has firmly backed Kiev. On last count, Washington has sent Ukraine over $60 billion in funding and equipment through military, economic, and humanitarian aid. Expect that to change dramatically under Donald Trump. During campaign, Trump said Washington's support to Kyiv will be relooked and there will be an effort to end the war once and for all, perhaps on Russia's terms. Over in West Asia, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would be relieved to see Biden on his way out. Since the war with Hamas began, Tel Aviv was put under constant pressure by Washington for a ceasefire. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had made several trips to Israel in this regard. Many reports and leaks in the last few months have revealed that Netanyahu and Biden didn't quite share the warmest of relations. A more sympathetic Trump administration would make Netanyahu breathe easy. That's what experts have to say. In a phone call ahead of the election, the president-elect reportedly told Israeli Prime Minister to wrap up major military operations in Gaza before Inauguration Day. That's the 20th of January when Trump takes oath. While Biden too was keen on a solution, Trump is expected to give more leeway to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And lastly, let's come back home. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was among the first global leaders to have spoken to Trump and congratulated him on his victory. The Trump-Modi bonhomie was on full display during Trump's first stint as president between 2016 and 2020. From Howdy Modi to Namaste Trump, New Delhi would definitely welcome Trump 2.0. New Delhi said it is keen to build on the good relations between India and the US.
See, look, this India-US partnership is a very special and a multifaceted partnership. Our Prime Minister spoke to President Trump yesterday. Before that, he also sent a message on X post congratulating him on his historic election victory. As fellow democracy, India celebrates this expression of people's mandate in the United States. Prime Minister conveyed to President-elect that we look forward to working very closely, as he had done with him earlier as well, closely to further strengthen India-US comprehensive global and strategic partnership. Both India and the United States will work for the betterment of the people and to promote global peace and stability and prosperity. So we want to further strengthen our partnership and we look forward to it.
The one upside from New Delhi's perspective would be the lecturing by the Biden administration on aspects like human rights and press freedom that is expected to come down significantly under Donald Trump. But one area where a Trump presidency would likely impact India-US ties is trade. Last month, Trump alleged that India imposes the highest tariffs on foreign products and vowed to introduce a reciprocal tax if elected to power. Then, his first administration attempted to increase wage requirements for foreign workers and impose additional restrictions, which created challenges for Indian IT professionals under the H-1B visa. If at all Trump decides to go down that path again, it could affect the Indian talent pool in the US and several tech firms that rely on skilled Indian workers. All in all, interesting and eventful times ahead. Donald Trump will formally take oath on the 25th of January next year, with Senator J.D. Vance as his vice president. That's all we have for this report. Do like and share the video and subscribe to HW News English on YouTube for more such videos. Thanks for watching.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.